I came up with this idea of toxic compassion, which was something I was looking to name.
Metastatic maternity.
Yes, like an Oedipal complex.
Like the need to smother and protect something so badly that you just want to do violence to somebody because you want to get your rocks off. There is this problem with compassion.
But if you prioritize short-term emotional comfort over everything else, you end up with some very strange externalities.
No, it's not just that, though. Well, I mean, I wonder if we're talking about the same thing.
Maybe not. Let me read you mine. Toxic compassion is the prioritization of short-term emotional comfort over everything. Over truth, reality, actual long-term outcomes, flourishing, everything. It optimizes for looking good rather than doing good. This is seen in much of popular culture as the desirable, fair, and empathetic thing to do, and it's everywhere. People would rather claim that body fat has no bearing on health and mortality outcomes to avoid making overweight individuals feel upset, even if this causes them to literally die sooner or have a worse quality of life over the long run. Parents would rather allow children to play computer games or watch screens and access social media every night instead of dealing with the discomfort of taking it away from them, even if it ruins their brain development, social skills, and self-esteem. People would rather say that children growing up in a single-parent household suffer no worse outcomes than those from two-parent households, even if this misleads parents, children, and teachers about why kids behave the ways they do. Elon Musk recently responded to criticism about his political alignment and contribution to climate change. He identified how big of a shift Tesla had caused in the electric vehicle market and the downstream impact of that on the environment, saying that he's done more for the climate than any other human in history. What I care about is the reality of goodness, not the perception of it. And what I see all over the place is people who care about looking good while doing evil. Telling people what they want to hear, giving them immediate gratification, and avoiding saying anything that could cause distress prioritizes appearing good over actually doing good. It's dangerous.
I'm with you. You are in an area I think a lot about, and I don't want to attack something that you're saying, but I conceive of this differently. There's a point about sanctimony and appearing to do good while doing evil. That is different from the need to parent and protect. Part of what's going on is a redistribution of empathy, which is being called an expansion of empathy. Right? So the idea is we are going to be extra especially sympathetic with some groups and empathic with their trauma, their pain. And we are going to take away compassion from other groups. So, for example, if you look at suicide statistics in the United States, from all of the rhetoric, you would think that young Black Asian females would be at the top of the suicide statistics, but it's really middle-aged white men who are killing themselves in incredible numbers. And you bring up the statistic, and there's an exchange rate in terms of human misery that is measured in suicide. It's a pretty unfudgeable thing that when you kill yourself, you're probably in an extremely negative state of personal trauma. So what does the compassion group think about the fact that the group most likely to end their own lives is exactly the group that is faulted, for the patriarchy? It's astounding. Oh, poor little white men in the Midwest who had their privilege taken away. What the hell are you talking about? You're talking about people killing themselves. You're talking about fathers and grandfathers dying. What we're talking about is a redistribution of compassion. We're talking about taking compassion away from people of European descent. We're talking about taking compassion away from men. We're talking about taking compassion away from a business person like Steve Jobs, who might have pancreatic cancer and be dying from it in his 50s because he had the privilege of building billion-dollar companies. Who the hell are you? What is your problem? Come out of the shadows and admit to what you want. You want a redistribution of compassion. You're calling this empathy. It is anything but empathy. Empathy would be an expansion of our understanding of each other's problems and woes. This is basically saying that these people are worthy of compassion and these people aren't. The child who might have been wronged for not having a clear gender identity, and that would have happened under any era in any circumstance. That's one life. And then you have a bunch of lives over here that are children who are pushed towards sexual reassignment surgery and are sexually mutilated for no reason at all because of developmental reasons, that they got bad advice from adults while they were trying to assemble themselves. And you're compassionate about this and you're not compassionate about that? I don't want you anywhere near a school. If you're not willing to deal with type 1 and type 2 error, you don't belong around our children. If you don't understand the human development is important and that it is very hard to improve on the gender binary that is, even if there are edge cases, the gender binary is there for a reason. And you don't have a clue how complicated the gender binary is. You probably haven't even studied sexuality in different species that assign gender. Flatworms assign it based on a contest. The winner is male and the loser is female. You don't like that? Tough luck. Bedbugs only practice traumatic insemination. You don't like that? I'm sorry. How are you going to engineer the entire world around your crazy theories of gender and sexuality? We need these people away from children. They're working out their own stuff. We need to recognize that homosexuality, particularly among men in an obligate fashion, is a normal, conserved part of the human experience. That basically there is a gender binary, that there is a small number of edge cases at a hardware level. There's a small number of cases meant at a software level. We have to be compassionate about all that, but we can't take compassion away from everyone else. That's a message to both the left and the right. Stop saying there are only two sexes. It's offensive. And stop forcing people to say something so simplistic because you're threatening their children.